And we're coming to you live for the Build Ford Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason and Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network. And wherever you're on the free Odyssey app, good Monday morning. One of the busier Mondays I can ever remember. We've got a couple of losses we have to dissect from last night. But as we move ahead this morning and into later today, we've got Yankees playoff baseball, we've got Mets playoff baseball, and we got the Jets playing for first place on Monday Night Football. It was pretty ugly yesterday, though. There's no two ways about it. Mets get off to a miserable start in this NLCS. Kodai Senga can't throw a strike. It's frustrating as hell. The Mets bats go completely silent. But you flush it, you move on. I'm not too concerned after that performance, to be honest with you. I really think that this team can bounce back, take one, then you got three at home. But that was brutal. And I don't know. Carlos Mendoza, I love him to death, but there's two guys that he just believes in too much, and that's Edwin Diaz and Kodai Senga. And you get the Giants last night, who have 8 million opportunities on offense. They just can't get it done. Missed field goals, can't convert on fourth down, throwing miserable interceptions at the goal line. The Giants defense did absolutely everything to keep themselves in that game and keep that team in the game against an offense that had been rolling, but just not enough. And obviously the Giants offense is just rough, especially without Malik Neighbors. All right, good morning, Boomer. How are you? Let's get into it.
Yeah, hey, how you doing, G?
Great, man, great.
I'm over here picking up the pieces.
Picking up the pieces?
There's a lot of broken pieces right now.
Picking up the pieces.
The good thing for the Mets is that they get to play today at 4 o'clock. I
Yeah.
don't know what the hell Major League Baseball's thinking about. You know, the Yankees and the Mets should be flipped. I mean, just because the Mets, are they going to have a chance to get a good night's sleep? What's going to happen? I mean, let's just show up right away. And
That'd be okay.
Maybe that's the best thing for the Mets because, as you said, Kodai Senga couldn't find a strike zone. We all saw it. We all witnessed it. He threw 30 pitches. 10 of them were actually in the strike zone. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was horrendous. Horrendous. And, I know, give him credit. He's out there. He's trying to do his part. He's trying to be a part of a winning team and gave a winning performance against the Phillies. But the Dodgers were all over him, especially, after he walks the bases loaded. I mean, the game's over. Right? I felt like the game was over right there. Even thinking that the Mets have this special thing about late game comebacks that never, ever even remotely materialize. So it was a bad game. It was horrendous. We'll talk about it today, but I'm more worried about what's going to happen at 4 o'clock today.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, getting one in L.A. is the priority, and you didn't get the first one. And now you got this opportunity with Minaya on the mound, and they're going to have a bullpen game, and you really want to split and then come home for 3 at Citi Field. And you talk about everybody having skin in the game, and it's been a theme of yours with the Knicks and others and the Jets. But this Senga thing, we didn't love the first time, but it kind of worked out. But to toss him out there again, I mean, I know it feels like a second guess, but I've just been all over just Carlos Mendoza and Carlos we trust. But it just Senga out there, he really faced nobody. To throw him out in a game one against the Dodgers lineup like that, and he's throwing balls all over the place, it felt like it set the tone for what was going to be a miserable night.
Yeah.
And I just wonder how I'm with you on moving on, trust me, because he got a game, 1 o'clock out there, 4 o'clock here. Let's go. Get the win, still have faith in them, not losing faith in them. But why so much trust in a guy who has pitched like nothing? You haven't seen him at all.
Well, I mean,
and now what's his role going to be going forward?
They'll try to spot use him if they can. And, again, they also made the decision to bring back Jeff McNeil, not to play and start and all that other stuff, but he's going to be a guy that's going to come off the bench. He came off the bench late last night, get in that bat. You never know when that's going to be important. And they decided to drop Adam Ottavino, which I don't think there's an argument about any of that. But they lose an arm in the bullpen in a case like last night's game. That's the thing that you always worry about is in these games and in these series is making sure that you have your pitchers lined up right and everybody's doing well. And even David Peterson last night, he started to get hit. Look, the Dodgers are a really good team. They're a really good team. I think they're much like the Yankees in a sense that during the season, they're so good. Everybody gives them their best shot, and they're going to lose games due in large part to injuries, especially to their starting staff. And the strength of their team is their clutch hitting, and it's going to be their bullpen. So now they will do a bullpen game today, and everybody's like, oh, bullpen game, we got this. I hope so.
No, well, I mean, their last bullpen game didn't give up a run.
They haven't given up a run in, 3 straight games now or 4 straight games?
Yep.
I mean, so they are loaded in the bullpen, and this is like – if there were ever a team that was based on analytics and based on, matchups and everything else, it is the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the fact that Flaherty did pitch as well as he did just cements the fact that they made the right trade at the trade deadline.
Yeah, and it was like at the 11th hour where they ended up getting Flaherty. He was unhittable last night.
Curveball was killing him.
Right. I mean, in the difference between watching those two pitchers in the beginning where Flaherty is attacking with confidence, and Kodai Senga's nibbling and throwing balls. It just set a tone. Now, if Senga started or Peterson started or it doesn't matter who started, it wasn't going to matter. I think last night. I think Flaherty was too good. You didn't score any runs. I just felt like it set a bad tone with Senga. But hell, if you would have lost that game, 3-2 in 15 innings. Or you would have gotten blown out like you did last night. You still got to come out here and win and take the game. So
and they're used to stuff like this.
I do not look at last night as the Mets are overmatched in this series after getting their asses kicked.
Yeah, 9-0 wouldn't tell you that.
No way. What?
9-0 wouldn't tell you that. Here's the one thing I'm saying.
You feel like they're overmatched now?
This was like the worst game they've played in 6 weeks. And maybe it was because of the extended, this little extended 2-day layoff or 3-day layoff. It shouldn't have been much.
Yeah.
But there was something to be said about them. It seemed, traveling all up and down the East Coast, going to Milwaukee, going to Atlanta, going to Milwaukee, going back to Atlanta, going to Philadelphia. I mean, and we were making fun of it that they hadn't slept in their bed yet, and they did. And there's something to be said about just the team being together, traveling around, doing things that nobody expected, and then having these incredible moments where you galvanize the team. And then all of a sudden, now we got the first game of the NLCS, and you're sitting there going, they haven't played in 3 days. And it's been a lot of talking done, and it kind of takes them out of whatever rhythm. And I thought last night, with the way that Flaherty started the game, was more eye-opening to me than the way that Senga did. I mean, because Flaherty was so good.
Yeah.
And then you couple that with Senga being so bad that I never felt like the Mets ever had a chance in this game.
No, yeah, I'm with you. But do you feel now, after just because of this one game, that they're overmatched with the Dodgers?
I will say this. It comes down to winning today's game. I believe that they have to win today's game. They have to win it. I mean, I know teams have come back, but they have to win this game.
Okay.
And if you talk to a Dodger fan, and I have one in my life, don't talk to him quite as much as I used to, but he'll tell you that the strength of their team is what they're doing today. It's going to be their bullpen arms, and you don't get to see them a second time or third time around. I mean, you get to see if they all do their job, they may get 4 outs, or they may only get 3 outs.
Yeah. Two of the most frustrating things that you can watch as a sports fan.
The Giants
were happening, right? Well, were happening last night. Is for me, there's two things. There's a whole list. We all have a whole list of things that drive us nuts. But two that are right at the top of that list. You have a pitcher who can't throw strikes. You're just screaming at the TV, throw a goddamn strike. And another thing is when you have an NFL team that can't score and has all these opportunities to do so, and they can't do it. And then they're missing field goals, and then they're throwing horrendous interceptions at the goal line with a defender in your face. Let me just throw it up into the middle of the field for the hell of it. No. I mean, for God's sakes, 4th and 3, drop pass, and they're moving the ball. They're moving the ball.
Pass. That was an inaccurate throw.
All right. Sorry.
I'm just
incomplete pass.
So Daniel Jones last night, if you really boil it down and you watch some of these throws, they were woefully